Hey, y'all, I want y'all to check this match out. I did not want to lose his motherfucker. You know, sometimes you play certain bitches and they got a real annoying way of playing. And because of that, you just don't want to lose to them. And they just got a punchable face. This motherfucker just had a punchable face. And he just was annoying as fuck. Just the way that he moved and the way that he played, his playing style just really annoyed the shit out of me. So I really wanted to win this match. And I did. But I do respect him because he put up a fight. It was definitely a real competitive match. I was dogging him. He had got me in some trouble early on. I came back with a real funky move and fucked him, like put him in a real fucked up position. And I had a big lead, and y'all know I don't really give up leads once I get them. But this was almost a game where, you know, it's kind of looking like I might not be able to close the show. But I did, you know, I just focused, and got him up out of there. But towards the end, he made it kind of interesting for a minute. But I just proved that I was a superior player and gave him this motherfucking Philly funk. Pretty scary match for me. I'm kind of lucky that I won it. Let me show y'all the match and take y'all step by step through how it all unfolded. So he got me early on with this move. I just didn't like it, but I took the pawn anyway. He checked me. And so my main focus right now was just to develop my pieces and to protect my king. And so that's why I moved my bishop up here so that I can move my knight, threaten his queen. And, you know, my bishop is well protected by this pawn here on the F2 square. I just wanted to get that knight off the board and, you know, kind of get some of his pieces out the way. And that's where he got me. I didn't even see that. I wasn't even paying attention. Like I said, chess is 75%. I would even say more than that. 90% focus. You got to be focused. And if you don't, you're going to make blunders, and that's going to cost you in mistakes. And I just didn't see this. It was a really impulsive move. I don't know why I didn't see that nothing was protecting my pawn here, but it happens. I don't usually make those kind of mistakes. Usually my opponents do, which is why I win a lot. But this one I was feeling a little like, man, I see this gonna be one of those kind of games, man. I see this gonna be one of those kind of games. So I did this, but like he can just move there. And this is, it's situations like this that, you know, remind me how much I have to learn about chess, because I'm sure it's probably something I could have done over here to trap his queen. Maybe not. But I just felt like I kind of left some moves on the board that could have really helped me get him out of there and win this game quicker. I figured he would do that, and we exchange pieces there. He checked me. And so I just didn't like that my king was just, you know, all my pawns are pretty much developed. One is even in his territory, and my king is just like exposed, like it's not protected. And so from that standpoint, he has a, I guess you would say, positional advantage, because he can still castle. You know, all his pawns are up here protecting his king. His king is, you know, solid. His king is, you know, chilling. My king just out here floating around, you know. So I didn't like that. So he definitely had an advantage, and probably should have won this game if he made, you know, smarter moves and protected his king. So I just had to you know, focus on protecting my king and trying to apply some pressure, put him under some pressure. I didn't like this situation here either because I'm like, once again, you giving up, I'm making a bad move and giving up a pawn. Gotta move the bishop, and then he takes the pawn. So he's leading by like, the knights are off the board. So I had both of his knights, he has both of my knights, but he has 3 pawns of mine, and I only have 1 of his pawns. So yeah, he definitely had a pretty solid advantage here. So this was sort of like a comeback win for me. But this is where I got him. This is where I got a little momentum on my side. When I took this pawn here. And the reason being is because he didn't want me to... He didn't want to take that pawn, and then I take his pawn and check him and then take his rook. But he kind of fucked himself either way, because now his rook has nowhere to move if I move pawn up 1. And because now his rook don't have anywhere to move with me moving pawn up 1, because now he's exposed. And this is how sometimes your own pieces can kill you. Because if his pawn was down, then he can just simply move his rook down. But there's nothing he can do to save that rook. He fucked. And that's when I got back in the game, and that's when, I took the lead, and I had the momentum. I got the lead back. So he takes my pawn, but then, and so that was a 2-for-1 exchange. And this is when I was like, okay, I got him, because I got 2 motherfucking rooks. Like, and I don't lose games when I have, big leads like this. I have in the past, but it's really rare. But this is one of those games where I was on the verge of doing that, giving up a big lead. And y'all know they ain't like me. So I'm all in the business now of like not just trading, but putting pressure on his king. Now his king is exposed. So I'm just like, and we exchange queens. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that because I got 2 rooks. But this is when things got a little kind of, I don't know, tricky. And I had to play smart. I am good at playing chess without my queen. Some people, they just fucked if they don't have a queen on the board. I'm not one of those people. I play pretty well without my queen, but I definitely play better with my queen. I think that's the case for most of us. So yeah, it got tense here, because you see I'm trying to advance that pawn, so I'm putting all this protection. I'm giving my bishop all this protection to save my pawn, and it just got tricky right here. I thought he could have made a better move right there, but see, now the issue is that he's moving those pawns over here down, and I don't really have much over here to stop all of this. So I knew I had to think smart and make some real smart moves, and thankfully I had enough time left. I had 5 minutes and 44 seconds left to really think about my moves and what I wanted to do, because I'm still in a situation where he can come back because of all the pawns that he got. So I'm like, okay, let me try to attack some of those pawns and get them off the board. I wasn't playing. I was like, okay, I ain't even worrying about this pawn right now because he's protected by his little brother here. I'm trying to get some of these pawns off the board. So he moves down, and I'm like, shit, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay, if I just move that there, then I can take with the other rook, and it'll be protected by the other rook. And he moves down. I'm like, okay, I got to figure out a way, man. I should have been moving my king. I should have been moving my king over. I'm like, so, okay, I'm going to need some assistance. So I'm going to move my king over, and I'm going to need him to kind of fuck up. So I said, okay, I'm just going to stop this. You ain't coming down. I don't give a fuck what happened. You ain't coming down. And I knew that was a good move because I don't no longer really have to worry about him. He's a non-factor now because my pawn here will take him out eventually if he come down, push him to shove. So I knew I was pretty good at this point. But then when he did that, that allowed me to move my other pawn up. So he got scared and moved back over there. So this was like, you know, it was a war towards the end. It was a war. It was a war. It definitely wasn't easy to close him out. He kept fighting. And I got to give him respect for that. So I'm like, okay, let me move my king over, get my king into action to help out. And when he did that, I thought that was a bad move by him. That allows me to move my king up. Now I'm really getting one of these pawns. You know what I'm saying? He moved there. I was like, okay. Then he moved there. But then this where I made a move that one of my friends, who's a much better chess player than me, would make. I got to start thinking about like strategically ways I can get like an advantage or just outsmart my opponent by doing like a real slick, funky move. So I did this. Thought that was pretty cool because if he take, then I check him with a queen with my pawn. He takes, I move up here. It's check, and it's a wrap after that. I still got a whole nother motherfucking rook down here. So he recognized that and was like, all right, I just give up the pawn. And I checked him, and then I moved back up to protect the pawn. And he moved down. I guess he tried to threaten that pawn down there, but I'm not worried about that. My focus now was just getting his pawns off the board, but I had to be cautious and take his pawn with the right piece. So I took that pawn with the rook instead of the king because he could have checked me and then took my rook. But I don't think he will want to do that because he don't want my pawn up there to convert to a queen. So I pretty much knew I had him at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah, I kind of knew I had him, and it was just a matter of closing him out, which was a little difficult. I didn't want to like stalemate or anything, so I had to be smart, and I was trying to protect that pawn there. I just moved up. He was like, fuck it, I'd rather take the pawn and try to get a stalemate somehow and hope that you fuck up rather than just letting you get a queen. So that was pretty much it. Let me speed this up. I had to play around a little bit, and I could have really just checkmated him with both the rooks, but I just wanted to make it easier on myself. I didn't want to risk a stalemate, so got my queen, and that's all she motherfucking wrote. He put up a fight though. This was a long match. He put up a fight, so I respect him. But I got him out of there. So as y'all can see, like I said, that was a real competitive game. Dude put up a good fight, but in the end, I prevailed and proved that I was a superior player. I beat him. I was happy about it because I didn't want to lose to that motherfucker. I just think dudes be kind of cocky and flexing and shit once they like get a little lead or they kind of put you in a bad spot. You know what I mean? And they get like a positional advantage. They think that they got you. So I love nothing more than coming back and beating a nigga. And y'all know that I got a lot of fucking comebacks. I come back a lot. This wasn't necessarily like a peace comeback. Like, it's not like he had me down like by, I mean, he was, you know, up a queen or up a rook or a bishop or knight or something like that. It's just that positionally, like, it just, like, GMs would definitely choose like to be in the position he was in than to be in the position that I was in. So, you know, I got my way out of it. And, you know, you always need a little help from your opponents. You know, when you down in a game and you come back and win, it's definitely not all you. You know, you definitely need them to kind of drop their level of play or to fuck up a little bit in order for you to get back in the match and win. You know, because if they play the perfect game after they get, you know, a lead, there's no way you can win unless you just a much better player. So I'm glad that I beat this motherfucker. Got the W and, you know, put his ass on my motherfucking 2022 Chess bitchless. He never one of my motherfucking victims. He couldn't fuck with me. He couldn't fuck with me. I said he couldn't fuck with me. He couldn't handle this motherfucking Philly funk. Ah.